Impact area discovery designs can be found in VSP following a few different paths. In version 7.5, we have updated the UXO menus, and this design can be found in a submenu under Remedial Investigation or Find Impact Areas. Either menu option opens the same dialog. The UXO Guide to VSP Designs and Analysis and the Remedial Investigation Design Guide can also be used to arrive at this dialog. For more information on these guides, see video UI100. After opening the design, we see that there are three tabs: Survey and Target Area Pattern, Transect Spacing, and Costs. When opening the dialog for the first time, the Survey and Target Area Pattern will be in focus. This tab is where the transect width, orientation, and pattern are entered. These values are specified by the user and are defined by site conditions. Most often, the transect pattern is left at the default of parallel. However, the transect width and orientation are based on site-specific equipment and conditions. The transect width is the footprint of the survey's equipment detection capabilities. Often, the orientation of the transects is set based on site factors like slope or ease of access. The transect orientation can be useful if you know details about the impact area shape and orientation. The second section of this dialog is the Target Area Size and Pattern section. This section defaults to a manual entry of the impact area using a radius input where the impact area is assumed to be a circle. Unless very specific information about the orientation and elliptical shape of the impact area is known, we recommend using a circular target area. The manual entry option can be leveraged by users that are using the document titled Simplified Target Sizing Model for Visual Sample Plan, which is obtained from the Army Corps of Engineers. PNNL has a redacted version that documents the methods without showing any sensitive data. If you select the second radio button, I want VSP to calculate the size and shape of the target area of concern, then conservative recommended default impact area radii will be provided based on the munition diameter of interest. The previously mentioned document provides the guidance on how these recommendations were developed. Once this radio button is selected, you can choose between surface-launched munitions, like mortars, and whether they are highly explosive or chemical rounds, and air-launched munitions, and whether the explosive weight of the bomb is less than or equal to 100 pounds, or greater than 100 pounds. If you selected surface-launched, then a scroll bar is provided to select the munition diameter of interest. Diameters can be shown in millimeters or inches. Once the diameter of the munition is selected, the conservative impact area diameter is transferred to the radius. With the addition of the conservative impact area size recommendations, the primary challenge you will have on this tab is getting your stakeholder team to settle on the smallest munition of interest for your study area. That decision is outside the scope of VSP, but you can use VSP to demonstrate the costs and detection trade-offs between munitions of interest. The second tab, labeled Transect Spacing, has the more detailed inputs necessary to finalize the data quality objectives for the sparse transect spacing that will be performed. The first drop-down highlights the design objectives that can be chosen for the transect spacing. This drop-down defaults to Ensure High Probability of Traversal and Detection, which is the option that we recommend. The other two options are Ensure High Probability of Traversal Only and Manual Transect Spacing. The manual transect spacing allows you to input the specific transect spacing desired, as well as a specific starting location. The Ensure High Probability of Traversal Only has one input where you select the probability of traversal. The probability is purely a geometric question about the probability of narrow rectangles, or transects, traversing a circle, the impact area. It assumes that touching the circle is the only need. If this option is being used, we recommend using 100% as the input. Both the manual and the traversal only designs have a target detection performance window shown. That window is for evaluation purposes. The recommended design objective of Ensure High Probability of Traversal and Detection has quite a few more inputs and items to understand for a proper application of data quality objectives. As it is a little more complicated, it is covered in detail in video UI120. The final tab is labeled Costs, and shows different summaries of the transect coverage within your study area. In our experience, the most typical item used from this tab is the total length of transects. The cost window does allow you to input some generic cost information for decision making.